Heya Bat Bunch, Happy New Year! To bring in the new year, I wanted to share with you guys my own goal for 2024. Instead of simply complaining about the things I see on the internet that I don't like, I would like to instead model the changes I want to see in content creation on my own platform. In 2023, I admittedly spent a lot of time with my finger held tight on the pulse of the VTuber sphere through Twitter and commentary channels. I felt like every new drama and every new meta was important for me to keep track of so that I could somehow learn something about VTubers and content creators as a whole from it. But upon further reflection, instead of becoming more knowledgeable and a better content creator for it, I instead found myself growing increasingly more bitter about content creation as a whole. Towards the end of 2023, I found myself much more enamored with VTuber gossip and all the bad in the community. As a result, a feeling of hopelessness about the state of creators and social media platforms gradually replaced my inspiration to create valuable and positive content. The final nail in the coffin was when YouTube gave me a strike on my channel for, quote, sexual content and nudity. The reason they stated was a link in the description of my most popular video. The link was only used to credit an artist and didn't violate YouTube's guidelines at all. My channel got punished and demonetized unfairly, and at the worst time for my channel too. This happened right after I premiered my upgraded model. As a result of this injustice at this horrible time, I experienced true bitterness. I found myself scrolling Twitter, looking at all the other VTubers with much spicier content than mine, and getting angry that they were able to get away with so much on their channels while I was here sitting in jail for nothing. Why even try to make good content when bad content gets a pass and sometimes even gets rewarded? This ugly feeling of unfairness grew and ultimately made me want to quit making videos entirely. After all, I had followed all the rules to a T, and yet here I was, watching my channel slowly die while I was being punished for a crime I hadn't actually committed. Once I realized just how bitter I was becoming, I decided to take a step back and reflect on my life choices. I got a new job, I stepped back from social media, and I spent more time with my family and boyfriend. It became apparent that all my quote-unquote research on Twitter was actually just me seeking out negativity to feed my bitterness. After all, knowing who was doing what bad thing and which platform was bungling their terms of service the most, who got a new outfit, who won streamer award and who is feeling bad about that, who used AI art in a thumbnail and got caught, all of that was pointless to me. Other people's failures and successes actually shouldn't matter to me at all. The truth is, I did have every right to be mad about my own demonetization. The last half of 2023 was very rough for me, and I deserve to be upset about that. But instead of learning how to direct those feelings into something productive, I continued to feed them until my bitterness grew into apathy and eventually burnout. If I could go back in time and tell 2023 Yam something, it would be this. No matter where you look, there's going to be silly people doing bad things. The reality is that the popular thing to do is rarely going to be the right thing to do, because oftentimes the world values the wrong things. But regardless of that, you can inspire change simply through modeling the right thing to do yourself. Bitterness, anger, jealousy, or being up to date on drama doesn't change anything. Your response and the way you carry yourself despite your circumstances does. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't complain or air your own opinion, and I still think having social media can be a positive thing. However, the next time you feel yourself engrossed in drama, or angry at the next Twitch update, or upset because you feel like your circumstances aren't fair, don't let your negative feelings spiral into bitterness. If you spend too much time in that cycle, eventually you will feel defeated. If you stay bitter, you will quickly convince yourself that anything you create is pointless. Instead, I invite you all to join me in doing 3 things. Step 1. Temporarily remove the source of the bitter feeling. In my case, I had to step away from social media and my channel as a whole for a bit. Instead, find an old video game or hobby you really enjoyed, or call up friends or a loved one. And most importantly, remove your source of the stress. Don't check Twitter or YouTube analytics for a bit. Having a job outside of YouTube also helped me focus on something else and kept my mind away from the doom and gloom. Step 2. Look back on your progress and encourage feelings of accomplishment and gratefulness wherever you can find them. For me, looking back on my content library and the fan art I have received through my journey made me feel incredibly accomplished and grateful for my YouTube channel and all the wonderful people it has led me to meet. I have met so many awesome artists and friends through starting this YouTube channel. I have also been able to participate in some wild projects that I didn't originally even think were possible, like joining an online orchestra comprised solely of VTubers. Suddenly, it was no longer pointless. Even the videos that didn't age well or the projects that fell apart made me learn so much about the creative process and helped me form my video style today. Step 3. When you are ready to return, make an actionable plan of how you are going to change your own habits or content to reflect the change you want to see in your own online community, the internet, or even world as a whole. For me, I made this list. 1. I will no longer be scrolling Twitter. Instead of scrolling Twitter for people to network with, I have decided to let the connections come to me. I still definitely use Twitter to advertise my channel and my services, but I direct inquiries to my Discord and email instead. I also installed an extension that hides my YouTube analytics page so that I don't focus on my numbers while my channel is still in strike mode. 2. I am simply not going to rely on Google anymore. Instead of feeling bitter that people are getting away with content that violates YouTube's guidelines while I myself got punished for something harmless, I am going to diversify my platforms and not rely on Google for my workflow, search engine, or sole income. I changed my business email from Gmail to ProtonMail, and I uploaded my entire video library to Odyssey so that my videos will stay public even if this channel itself someday perishes. 3. I'm going to speak my mind and be true to myself. Instead of staying angry that there are so many predatory corporations out there, from bad social media, corrupt talent agencies, to scam sponsorships out there, I'm going to make educational videos on how to better navigate these things as an online creator. I won't be taking any sponsorships I don't fully believe in either. I want my audience to be able to believe in the authenticity of my words and opinions. 4. I'm going to focus on the good examples out there and ignore the bad. If I find a design to be not my taste, I'm not going to make a dedicated video talking about why it is bad. I'm instead going to dedicate my time focusing on the fantastically unique character designs out there and why they work so well. 5. I'm not going to force content out. Part of how I got so discouraged in 2023 was the huge amount of video scripts, music videos, and planned streams that just never got fully made. There were a lot of things I alluded to on this channel that never actually got published. At first, I was very angry with myself that I continually canceled projects, letting my audience down. But looking back on a lot of the things that I did cancel, I would say that they still served their purpose. In 2023, in total, 15 video scripts, 3 music projects, a concert, and 12 streams never made it out to my audience. Most of them either made it halfway or all the way through production, but either due to unforeseen circumstances or my own judgment, they were cut from the channel. And instead of feeling bad about that, I am now telling myself that's perfectly okay. I learned a lot about myself through these projects, and I've also learned the type of content I do and do not want to make. Some of those projects are things I am interested in returning to in 2024, but I'm also okay with a lot of them being tucked away in my own personal library. And alongside point 5, I'm going to learn to promise my audience less and quietly deliver more. 2023 was the year I hosted my donathon, and so far, I very much overpromised and under-delivered on the goals my audience raised money for. Don't worry, I will get all those goals still, but I am telling myself that I am not allowed to promise my audience anything else until I have made it through that list of donathon goals. I think the common thread about this list I made for myself is this. Instead of stewing in my frustration and feeding my confirmation bias through social media, or hiding it in a guise of false positivity, I'm taking my frustration and my disappointment and I'm doing something positive about it. I am still in YouTube jail, and there's a lot of unfair and sad things happening around me. But there are still things I can do to make an impact in my own life and the lives of others. So if you find yourself in the same rut that I did in 2023, remember to step back and recontextualize things by staying grateful and make an actionable plan about how you can actively make things better for yourself, rather than focusing on all the unfair external factors there are out there for creators. Stay tuned for more videos videos coming from me soon. Feel free to find me on all these platforms linked on my card. Comment your own goals for the new year, and as always, take care, Bat Bunch.